Be a Jada stan and shit. I understand for people that want to be Jada Kiss stans and all that. That Jada Kiss is great, but he got a shitty discography. That's just what it is. You want did he? I didn't remember him playing anything from his second album or the Last Kiss or Ignatius. He didn't play nothing from there because they were trash. He played shit from the first album because that's his best album. I've been saying that for years. You
I'll
know.
right back, bro.
Yeah. What up? What's good? Ronnie saying what up, yo?
Shit.
You know what I mean? He didn't play shit from Top 5 Dead or Alive because it was trash. You know? I love Cannabis as a lyricist. He ain't got no classics though. We gonna have to make a whole fucking show about that shit. Like I said, like great lyricists that have shitty discographies. Those two are right up there for me. You know. BJ's a heavy lock supporter. That's cool. I just feel like if Dipset playlist was right, it would have been a different story. See, even One Day agrees with me. Salute.
So one
You
day.
know. You know. I'm just saying. Great lyricist. His discography wasn't great for me. Makai, what up?
Seven Lonzo. I'm a creep. I'm
That
a
was
loose one.
that was a great discussion. I like that one.
Yeah, man. You feel like Jadakiss is more lyrical than Chino?
Ask BJ. He feel like Jadakiss is better than Rascast. I've never heard that.
I was like, yeah,
Yeah, I never
nah.
heard that. I'm like, you bugging now. You just a Jadakiss stan now at this point. He's, I'm not going that far to say he's better than Rascast lyrically.
Hell, even Assassination alone was more lyrical
Yeah,
than Kiss.
I think Rascast has better albums to me. Well, that's just me. So, many might not agree, or some people don't even know a lot of Rascast albums.
That is true. I really wish you would have dropped that Golden Child album and shit, the unreleased
Yeah,
album.
yeah, I facts. I remember when Flex was playing the one of those joints from the album when it was supposed to drop over here.
One day even said Jada over ass.
I can't argue. He's a great lyricist. I don't think his albums were great though. You know what I'm saying? I still love his first. I was just playing Kiss the Game Goodbye like 2 days ago. You know what I'm saying? It's still a great album to me, but I don't like his other albums. But he's a great lyricist. Top 5 Dead or Alive, easily. You know. But it's some people that they just go crazy. They just go crazy over him. You know what I'm saying? Like when the versus battle to me was like so overblown, and I've never seen that from any of they matchups. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, did Jadakiss win the Super Bowl or something? You know, did he get a trophy? I didn't see none of that. I just seen like all of these memes, and I'm like, they didn't do this when Nelly got his ass beat by Ludacris.
Shit.
The one with Mariah, that was Kiss of Death. You actually like that song? We didn't like that song. I didn't like that song at all.
Didn't you say they got the keys to the city in Yonkers?
Yeah, they got the keys to the city. What up? Boombox was good. Salute. Nah, Nebo, I didn't get the link, yo. Put the link in the chat so I could download it. I still don't believe it's out. Is there an album leak for Donda?
I didn't hear nothing.
I didn't hear nothing about that. Yeah, they got the keys to the city, and they didn't even give DMX that when he was alive.
Wild out.
when they said he loves that album, I like some songs from it. I think most of the songs sound outdated now. Like when I hear that album now, it sounds like 2004. You know, but I didn't like everything on there.
So Lupe's gonna do an album in 24 hours, y'all.
Wow, is that a good thing?
I don't know.
It's been years since I heard a Lupe album. So after Tetsu and Youth, I just checked out his film and stuff. I feel you. His You did an EP in 6 hours? That's what's up. I'm pretty sure it was a lot better than what Lupe is dropping. I don't like a lot of Lupe stuff since I want to say Lasers, and that wasn't even a great album either. His most commercial album, but I like that one. That's like the last time I actually liked the Lupe album.
Give me one more second.
Yeah. Time Lapse. I'm gonna check that one out. Time Lapse EP.
Tell them to drop a link on the channel.
Yeah, drop the link if you have one. So I'm gonna still check it out anyway though. But for people that's not familiar with your music though. I like his earlier stuff definitely. Food and Liquor and the Cool album. That's really about it. I like his other stuff. I don't really don't care for. This dude is wilding.
All right, now I'm ready.
I hope BJ is watching, yo. I would like him to come on here. You see what he's saying?
What?
He's saying that I never seen Razzcast on nobody's top 5 list lyrically.
Wow.
He just said that.
Y'all niggas funny, man.
Crazy, yo.
Y'all
So
niggas are funny.
all this like late appreciation for the locks now.
I hope Jadakiss' next album is gonna be like the bestseller and shit. With all this support.
Right? He better have like the fire production on there.
So are they gonna call Versus the Jadakiss show now? Or?
They might as well. It's like, yo, like I thought I was watching Superman, you know, they just all these memes about him, and they had him in like the Knick jerseys and everything.
Like, what about the other members too?
Bro,
How did y'all just said fuck Chic?
we talking about the verses like when they beat Dipset and all these memes were being made, and they had him. I seen Jadakiss in like the Knicks jerseys, and he had like 63 points against Dipset and all kind of crazy memes, and I'm like, yo, I've never seen this much like praise for the locks since they've been out. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if that's because of the new generation don't know their stuff, or people just forgot how dope they was. I'm like, this is not a surprise. Like, you know, we knew what they could do. I just, my whole issue was not them winning, but the whole disrespect for the Dipset's discography, which I think is crazy. I'm like, Dipset had like the hottest mixtapes in the 2000s, and people just, you know, they had amnesia all of a sudden and forgot how dope their music was. What up, Eric? What's good?
So Eric.
They playlist was, if their playlist was right, they would have won to me, because I was picking them from the start. I'm like, Dipset's discography is way deeper than Locks. Locks use a lot of features to win. They got carried away, yo. It's like they won, and it's like people acting like they won the Super Bowl or something. I'm like, I didn't see them handing no trophy. They didn't get a Vince Lombardi versus trophy for they win, or a World Series trophy. You know, it's just getting out of hand. It's like every day I'm seeing something about Jadakiss. I'm like, bro, like, is it that serious?
Like Jadakiss' favorite food. Especially,
His favorite liquor is Douce and shit. I'm like, I see there's some picture he had like on a boat and he had like 5 bottles of Douce on the boat with him. I'm like, bro, come on, man. Jewel's. I've been saying that from '02 Jewel's. People need to. They forgot how dope Jewel's was. You listen to like Back Like Cook Crack mixtapes and From Me to You and What the Game's Been Missing. That's his best stuff. Still, he still got 2 albums better than Jadakiss to me. It's just crazy. I'm like a lot of these cats, they don't know Dipset discography because they only think about that one Diplomatic Community album. They don't know the other stuff after that. You know, I might have to do like we might have to do like a Dipset. Like, you have any Dipset albums, Rich?
just some Cameron album.
I might have to. I could show you all the Dipset stuff that they put out that nobody don't know about. The More Than Music joint, Volume 2, nobody know about that album. They don't talk about it, but they got joints on there with the other artists. Like, they incorporated all of the artists, like from Hell Rel to JL Ryder, 40 Cal. All of their members was dropping shit. Locks had a label. Who they dropped? They didn't even drop nobody. They had J Hood and they got rid of J Hood. Boy said We Are the Streets or Diplomatic Community Volume 1.
Immunity Volume 1 for me.
I got that. That's a great double album that nobody talks about. That's why we had to talk about it. I one day said I agree Jadakiss don't got classic songs, but his flow and the voice is top notch. I think he do has classic songs. It's just that I don't feel like he had a better album after his first album. You know, like people know the Why song, and that's like his biggest signature song from his second album. That's like his signature song now. Like, that's like his biggest hit, like from any of his albums. And We Gonna Make It. Yeah, I think we should do that. Definitely should do like a Dipset video or something, because like the amount of shit that I'm seeing for their legacy is just retarded. That was a great album. Jewels was the MVP of that album. Like I said on that album review, like he shined on every track on that double album. And he didn't even drop an album yet. Like, he was like a rookie at that time. Yeah, well, you can say the same thing for Fab. Fab, just his mixtapes are better than his albums. He has no classic albums. Great lyricist, but his mixtapes are better than his albums, and that's what was happening. A lot of artists were dropping better mixtapes than their albums.
Oh, it feels so good to be home. Shit.
Right? We doing something early for a change.
Yeah. Plus, I can actually get a little nap in before I go out.
Right. All right, let's start the review.
Sure.
Today it was That Ain't Rap podcast with Triborough and Reg, and today we're discussing the 1999 album, one of my favorite albums from that year. I remember getting this album. Well, I'll tell the story, but this is the album from the Beatnuts, Musical Massacre, released on Loud Records. and they dropped 2 singles. Watch Out Now, everybody knows that joint. And I hope I'm saying it right. Acabo is how you say it. I know
The
it's
Spanish joint, right?
yeah. It's it means it's over in English. And yeah, it was released on Loud Records in 1999. Their third studio album, and there was a merger with Loud Records and Relativity Records at that time, and it's still their considered their most commercially successful album to date. It was number 35 on the Billboard 200 charts, and it was hailed 1999's most entertaining hip hop album by Allmusic.com. This is the production team of Psycho Les and Juju from Corona, Queens. They did legendary stuff for Chi Ali's first album, The Fabulous Chi. Fat Joe's first album, Represent. Um, who else? Mad Skills from Where, that his first album in '96. Just a whole bunch of albums they've Common. They did a whole bunch of stuff with different artists, and I don't think we've ever talked about the Beatnuts on anything, right? It's
Nah,
like the first time like we talking about their third album, but I know we were supposed to talk about their earlier stuff, right? We still gonna do that,
I mentioned it because like I'm not really the biggest Beatnuts fan to be real with you,
right?
and I recently got their earlier albums too. But we can talk. We can do that in the future.
Yeah, I don't. I have to get those other earlier ones. I slept on those joints, but yeah, but I said like the album anniversary is actually tomorrow. It's the anniversary, but I said why not do it today? And this was requested by Sam. Sam wanted us to discuss this album. I'm like, yeah, why not? Because we never talked about no Beatnut stuff, and I've always been a fan of their production style and rhymes. Even back when they had Al Tariq, part of the group, Fashion, and like how I got into them, like I said, like just listening to like the early production on the Chi Ali first album, and that was a great album in my opinion, his only album, and they just had like that real funky boom bap style of production that was like popular over here in New York, and um I just was a fan from them from that album and all the other stuff they've done, and then when they dropped the Intoxicated Demons EP in '93, that was a great project, and seeing them evolve as producers and artists as well, dope on the mic. I thought Psycho Les was great lyrically on the Street Level album, and seeing how Fashion was with them, and then he went off and he did his own solo album, God Connections, and he was Al Tariq at that point, and that was a dope album as well. That's another album I would like to talk about in the future.
Which one?
And Al Tariq, the God Connections album,
Oh, I never heard that album. Believe it or not.
that's a dope album, definitely.
Never heard it.
And Psycho Les is on that album. I think he produced on that album as well. Um, that was a dope album, another underground joint. And just seeing them evolve through the years as artists, and I feel like every album got better, like Intoxicated Demons and Street Level, Stone Age, that was a dope album, and um they just got better with time in my opinion, and I don't think I've ever heard like a whack Beatnuts album. Like I feel like there's some that's more fan favorites than others, but even like the underrated joints, so like to me they would have some bangers on there. So um you know they still remain relevant even now in today's music, and I know Psycho Les has been doing a lot of like solo projects, and they still producing as well. So and people forget they also they also like affiliated with the native tongues, if I'm not mistaken. And that's a legendary collective with in their own right, and that's just like my introduction to them. Like, what was your introduction to the Beatnuts?
Hmm. Um, I'm trying to think what actually introduced me to the Beatnuts. again, I can't really think of an exact moment, but I never really was raised like that on the Beatnuts, to be real.
Right.
Like, yeah, I knew about Juju as a producer, produced for like a lot of cats, including Ghostface with the one track with Supreme Clientele.
Yes.
Yeah, he did that. He do that. Okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I just always them and the Alcoholics. I never really. I liked some of the songs, but I never really been a huge fan. If
Right.
anything, I recently probably like recently, as in like a couple years ago, started like the earlier Beatnut stuff, like Intoxicated Demons, the street, the album, the street level album and shit like that.
Right.
Those ones I liked and shit like that because of the darker production, the boom bap and shit like that. Um, the joint that they came out in '97, which was considered like their break.
Stone Crazy. I said Stone Age. Stone Crazy.
Yeah, Stone Crazy.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say that was like their best album and shit. Like I never, that's another album I never heard.
That's a
Yeah, I
good
know.
album.
I know. Crazy. I never heard that album.
No, you're not crazy.
Yeah, but it's just like they're a group that's an acquired taste to me.
Mhm.
And listening to this album now, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. That's all I'm gonna say. Perfectly honest, but
What when they said the Source magazine put me onto them, they was pushing them heavy. Yeah, definitely. I saw a
oh
lot of the album ads in the Source magazine back then.
yeah, the Source magazine they loved like Beatnuts and
Yeah,
shit.
like their logo's iconic. I heard Psycho Les in an interview like talk about their logo, and he got it. He got the idea from something. I forgot what it was that how they got their logo, but it was something that he was looking at, and he got the idea of the logo. And it's definitely an iconic logo. Like everybody knows the logo, and I think that's like the logo is like something that drew a lot of fans in. And you see like this like the logo just looks evil. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah,
see the pictures of Juju and Psycho Les.
and you know what's crazy? I forgot to mention.
Oh,
You know what's how in like the late '90s. I think when we talked about like the Busta Rhymes Genesis album, there was like a lot more Latin influence sounds. Like especially like during like the hip hop R&B. With J Lo's and the Fat Joes and the Big Punishers and shit like that too.
right,
The Big Punishers and shit too. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Um, damn. Hold on, give me one. My mom's calling me. Let me see what she wants.
All right. Yeah, I've always loved their production and their music, man. It's just that just speaks to me more. The boom bap. Boombox was good, yo. It's crazy to think Pusha T has better quality albums over Kiss and Fab. I don't think it's crazy at all. I think again, like he's a great lyricist, Pusha, but he has a better quality discography, in my opinion. Like going back with, including with the clip stuff. You know, yeah. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. She just wanted
Yeah,
to check on me.
yeah. Now, yeah. This album has a lot of features. Dead Prez is on this album, who's also their label mates on Loud Records. You got Biz Markie, rest in peace to him. He's on this album. Common is on this album. Show Pepsi Riley is on this album. Tony Touch is on this album, rapping and he's kicking bars. A good track in my opinion on here. You got Greg Nice on here. Carl Thomas is on here. It's a lot of features on here. It's 19 tracks. Killer Tapes
Too
was
long.
good. DJ Tim, what's up?
Too
Let's
long.
get to too long. I have an issue with
Yeah.
that. Now that you said it, I have an issue with there's certain songs on here that I have an issue with the length of the
Same.
songs.
Yeah, especially
Um,
the skits too has some of the best beats, but we'll talk about that too.
right. The first track we got the intro, and the intro starts off with like a real dope beat. You got like a xylophone melody playing, and there's people clapping in the background and cheering, and then you have like different samples and snippets of like other songs that was scratched into the track. So I thought it was a great like starting intro for the album. You know, like they're not rapping or anything on it. It's just like a beat just playing with like different snippets. But I thought it was a good intro for the album.
Yeah, this was definitely a dope intro. You know what I'm saying? Nice way to kick off the album. You know what I'm saying? It just pretty much sets the whole tone of the album. To be honest with you. So I'll accept that.
Yeah. Track two is Beatnuts Forever. That was also featured on the Violator Volume One compilation album from the same year that came out in 1999, I believe. Um, that was definitely a dope track featuring Triple Seis, who was at that time he was still a part of Terror Squad, and I thought it was a really nice collab. You got Triple Seis on the chorus, really nice beat. Um, the hi hats was dope. The bass line. You got Psycho Les saying Corona Queens where half of my crew be at. You didn't expect this booby trap because I'm such a groovy cat. If you my dog, then I got you with a Scooby snack. If you fought faking a movie jack. So I liked his verse. Like I said, like Triple Say, I would have enjoyed Triple Say's, kicking a verse on here because I always thought Sace was like one of the best lyrically in Terror Squad, but he's just on the chorus. But I think it was a dope song. I definitely enjoyed this one.
Yeah, this track right here was definitely a very solid track right here. They all did their thing lyrically. The beat definitely had a more contemporary, updated style. When it comes to the traditional sound and shit. So I fuck with it.
Yeah, Coco Tasso. Yeah, that joint was hot. We're gonna get to that one. Um, you got track three, Muchacha Cha, featuring Willie Stubbs and Swinger. Really dope track. Nice beat, nice bass line. Really Stubbs. I believe he's on here. He's on the no. Swinger is on another song on here as well. Their verses were okay. I didn't really see nothing special with what they had to say on there, but it was cool. Juju again. I think Juju was the star of this track, and he's saying, "I'm not a troublemaking nigga, but I handle my beef. You know some every beef shit like what happened to Peace. Got no problem with smashing your teeth, fucking your wife, robbing you nigga, kidnapping your niece. Bless your cheek with the permanent crease. I'm a problem you don't need. Y'all probably go run for police." So I thought that was a great verse by Juju, and I feel like he's underrated in my opinion as a as a rapper. I always liked Psycho less, but I think Juju at times he definitely um, does his thing on the mic, and I think this was another dope, solid album banger.
Yes. Definitely a very solid joint on this album. Pretty much kicking that whole album off right. Juju is definitely pretty much my favorite member of this whole group in my opinion. So yeah.
Track four, you got I Love It. There's they don't say who's being featured on the chorus, but there's a female singer on the
Show
chorus.
Pepsi Riley.
Oh, that's who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not featured on that. She's only featured on the Look Around joint with Dead Prez, but she's not featured on I Love It, like the credit or whatever for some reason. But yeah, Shell Pepsi Riley on the chorus. Definitely enjoyed this track. Nice beat, great mic play between Juju and Psycho Les. You got Juju saying, "Yo, big fish eat little fish. You little bitch. You ticklish. I twist you niggas up like licorice." Love those lines by Juju. A great track.
I don't like this track.
You didn't like it?
Besides Cheryl Pepsi Riley, because
Yeah,
y'all she's definitely an underrated singer.
right.
I did not care for this track one bit.
Yeah,
It just felt like the it definitely had that I don't want to say commercial, but that more polished beatnut sound, which I kind of don't really care for it because, like I said, I'm more of a raw Beatnuts fan and shit like that. But this was definitely at the time when they were really trying to polish the sound and shit.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was. I thought. I mean, it's nothing really. It's something that it's a track that I can go back and play. Like I don't think it was. It was great, but it's not bad in my opinion. Like it's one of those tracks. Like yo, like I like this album cut. Now we get to track 5, Slam Pit, featuring Cuban Link from Terror Squad and
oof,
Common. Now this is one of my favorite joints on here. You got Lord Sear on the intro. Lord Sear was a part of the Stretch and Barbados show back in the day. He also was an artist on Barbados label, Final Records. You know, Google his stuff. He had like a lot of different singles out of that time. He's also, I think he has a radio show as well. I forgot the station. I know he has a channel on YouTube. But he's on here and he's on here on a lot on like a lot of the skits and he's on the intro and he's like busting off shots at dudes and then the beat comes on and I like the piano loop. It's like a real ill piano loop on it and the bass line is dope. You got like samples from Nas and the youngsters, you know, thrown in on the track. And I think Cuban Link stole the show. His verse was great. And he says, live large like Scarface, parlay in a far place. In car chasing, she's watching all the stars in space. Safe and sound in my playground with my trade pound. Got 80 rounds just in case clowns want to play around. I lay you down for the non-believers, them non-achieving niggas that want to be leaders but could never beat us. Y'all better greet us if you ever see us. TS Beatnuts, knuckle up or grab your motherfucking heaters. Classic. I'll always love that flow from Cuban Link, yo. Like his wordplay was just crazy. His flow was always crazy, and it's a shame that he never reached the stardom that I feel like he was destined to reach as an artist. And Common did his thing as well. I love Common's verse. Definitely like the best two MCs on this track.
yes, Cuban Links definitely killed this joint right here and shit. In my opinion, this was definitely like a nice little banger right here. I like that intro when they were like some nigga was trying to come in and it's like, hey, you don't know, you
Right,
know,
right.
shooting it out.
That was Lord Sear. That was Lord Sear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, love the line from Links when he says, "Cause the blocks are hotter than the fucking tropics. And topless bars, college girls with no bras, and a whole squad got blowjobs, smoking Godfather cigars." Like, just the whole wordplay alone, man, was just fire in my opinion. So,
Yeah, I think he's on. One day said I think Shady 45. Believe he's on that radio station. Um, but yeah, definitely one of my favorite tracks on here. We got track 6 is more like a skit. It's called Wild Wild What. I didn't really care for it. What did you think about it?
I just like the beat.
You just like the beat.
Yeah.
It was alright. Not much to say about that. We got track 7, Look Around, featuring Dead Prez, who were also on Loud Records. You got Shell Pepsi Riley again. Definitely a serious track. You know, you had the group was talking about like the poverty and the end of the world and I think this is one of their most serious tracks. You know, Beatnuts, they don't really do serious tracks like that. They more about partying and women and drinking, and I think this is like the most serious track on this album, and had like a nice beat and a nice haunting melody and the pianos, and Dead Prez were great on here as well. Juju, I liked his verse, and he said, "City life, no choice but to live by the knife. Put food on the table at whatever the price. My beautiful wife, all the time cooking precise. When there ain't no meat, she bless you with the eggs and rice. Never think twice. I love you for the rest of my life. That's why I taught you how to shoot when situations get trife." Love that verse by Juju. Stickman and M1, they were great as well. I love their verses. Definitely a nice track on here.
Yeah, this was definitely a more serious joint when it came to like the Beatnuts and stuff like that. And like you said, it's kind of rare that they touched on like, introspective tracks, social conscious tracks. But definitely, with them and Dead Prez, And Cheryl Festival, they definitely, created, something unique with this track right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just talking about the ill wills of, living in the city and just the impact that one will make. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing off, but yeah, this was definitely a very solid joint. Love it.
Yes, definitely. One of my favorites on here. You got the track 8. This is Killer Tape's favorite track, Coco Tasso, featuring DJ Tony Touch, and he's kicking balls on here just him by himself. And it's like you know, Tony Touch is a great legendary DJ, but I think he was severely underrated on the mic as well. I have a couple of his albums, the Peacemaker Volume 1 and the Reggae Tony album, and I enjoyed both of them. And this was definitely a surprise on here. Like it was just Tony Touch on the Beatnuts production beat, and he killed it. And he was saying, "Me and my clique, we bring it to you properly. You try to cop a plea, but you can't run game on this monopoly. You mad as shit because the girl all on top of me, the way it got to be. No ifs, ands, or probablys. That's my philosophy. Sit back and puff lots of trees and drop jewels like Socrates." I just loved his flow on here, and the beat was dope, and he had like a nice horn loop on here, fire.
Yeah, this was definitely a fire joint. Nice little like bars right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, everything you pretty much I agree with. I agree.
Yeah, definitely. And he was kicking balls. I think it was like maybe 2 minutes and like some change, but he definitely did his thing on here. That was
Yeah,
dope. We got track 9, Monster for Music. This is a Psycho solo joint. I like the beat. The pianos was dope. The scratching on here. You got Psycho saying, "You need to sit down. Who's coming with the shit now?" With some soul like James Brown. All these niggas shipping gold. I was like, "Fuck the game now. Don't make me start calling names out, blowing brains out." Yeah, I thought this was a dope song. It's not like one of my favorites. But it was cool to hear Psycho on a solo track.
yeah. This track right here was okay. I wasn't really too crazy about it either. Shit, I didn't really care too much for the beat. I'm gonna be real.
Hey, I got it. Surprise! I gotta tell y'all something. I used to actually write rhymes when I was in high school. Like I had like the 5 subject notebooks, and I used to like write rhymes and shit. But I never took myself seriously as no rapper. I just like doing it. You know what I'm saying? It was like my therapy, like just writing shit, from my head or whatever you was thinking. I just would write it down. But I never like wanted to be an artist. So yeah. I seen Killer Tape say, I really do rap. I mean, it's fun to quote bars from like some of your favorite artists. You know what I'm saying? Like even now, like when I hear like Conway spitting or Benny, like I could quote their bars. And that's something that I miss. It's been like we don't really have that anymore, where we could quote like lines from your favorite artists growing up. We did that with Kane and with Rakim and G Rap, and I felt like we don't really have that feeling anymore. I mean, do you agree with me, Reg? Like when was the last time you actually quoted bars from like your favorite MC?
Shit, it's been a while.
You know what I'm saying? So I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, like I like doing that. I like quoting like bars or whatever. So Boom said I got the voice for it. Thanks. Um, Track 10, we have Spelling Beatnuts with Little Donnie. I want to say this is Lord C again on the skit. I mean, I know his voice when I hear it. It's more it's like an interlude, but it had like a beat over it, and I don't know what they were spelling out the word Beatnuts, but it was like they used like each letter for something. So like
Yeah,
like N for nuts would be nasty ass, and U would be for used pussy, and it was okay. I didn't really. I mean, if anything, that could have been the intro. I didn't really think it should have been like track 10 on the album. But what you thought about it?
yeah. It could have been one of the earlier tracks or even a skit. But yeah, it's clever. It's clever, but at the same time, it's not too clever. If that makes sense.
He said like a shower rapper. Nah, I would just like write I used to write poetry, and then I would write rhymes. Back in the day in my notebooks or whatever. But I never like took myself seriously like as a rapper. I would just write it. Whatever I was feeling, I would just write it down in a notebook and try to make like a little rhyme out of it. So But like quoting bars, I would quote bars from like the real MCs, you know, Kane and Rakim and them, Nas and them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Track 11, we got Puffin' on the Cloud. One of my favorite tracks on here. Really melodic beat. I like the flute sample on it. It has like a Middle Eastern type of bass line with it, and there's like a girl singing on the chorus. Is that show Pepsi Riley too or no?
I think so.
And she was just all over this album, but they didn't give her credit for a lot of these songs that she's on. But this is definitely a dope song. It's just basically, you know, you got the Beatnuts doing what they do best, talking about women and weed and booze and you know, Juju to me was dope on here. He said, "Nobody keep it realer than you. That's so true. Body any man who dares to put his hands on you. Expense paid, vacation for two. Surprise, boo. Make you scream like a gypsy when I'm putting it through." So yeah, that definitely some dope lines by Juju. Psycho Les did his thing. I definitely enjoyed this one.
Um, Puffing on a Cloud. This one was was pretty cool and shit like that too. Nice usage of that sample from Love Unlimited. Not one of my favorites, but it's decent.
I actually reviewed the last Rock Marcy album, Mark Marcy with Legions of Knicks podcast. Shout out to Gmo and Legion of Knicks podcast. We did that last year as soon as the album came out. I did a review one here, so check that out if you missed it. But yeah, Rock Marcy definitely is one of my favorites. You know, consistent discography, great lyricist. He's becoming a great producer as well. Definitely, I could review any of his albums because it's that good. Um, Ronnie said Shell Pepsi Riley's a Full Force affiliate. I'm not familiar with a lot of Full Force stuff. Like I know some of their songs, but I wasn't like a huge Full Force like head. We get to track 12, Turn It Out. This was a double single with the B side to Watch Out Now, featuring Greg Nice from Nice and Smooth. Love this track. You know, Greg Nice, any song that he's on, you know, Dwick, you know, a lot of his own joints, you know, his solo joints and the joints with Nice and Smooth. He always brought that energy. He even did joints with Tupac, you know, unreleased stuff with Pac, and he's on the chorus as well. And this is definitely like a party starter. I love the beat. I love the horns on it. The bass line. It has like that signature quirky melody sound from the Beatnuts. When the track starts off, it's like a cartoon storybook type of intro to the track, and it was great. Psycho Les, he had the best verse in my opinion. He said, "Yo, we run up in the club and herb every bouncer, run up on stage and snatch the mic from the announcer. Beatnuts, don't get it twisted. This ain't salsa. Less the one to sign the bitch's chest like a voucher. Fire. Definitely one of my favorites on here. I love it. It's a classic to me."
I didn't care for this track.
You didn't like it?
Nah,
You didn't like nothing about it?
not really. Nah, not even Greg Nice could save it, and I'm not even the biggest Nice and Smooth fan either. So
I'm trying. The sample was whispering by the new vaudeville band. That was a sample that they used for this track. Track 13, you have Rated R featuring No Goodies. I think No Goodies was like a group that would Beatnuts were working with, and they also featured on another track on here on the album. This track was okay. I liked the beat. It wasn't really. It's mostly like just No Goodies on the track. It's not Psycho Les and Juju's not on. They're not on it, but I think it was decent.
Rated R.
Yeah.
This was okay. Again, not really one of my favorites, but
Right. Track 14, you got who you're fucking with is a skit. You got a lady moaning and beat playing. That's really about it.
yep, that's pretty much it. Is.
And
That's great.
supposedly they sampled the Back Down by Richard Pryor. You know that one?
I think it's from one of his comedy albums.
Okay. Well, I don't know what part they sampled. It's only like 50 seconds. I don't, you know.
Right.
Track 15, you got this the Story 2000. Another Cycle S solo joint on here. Over a break beat and a piano loop and the bass line was dope. You know, you got Cycle S talking about getting with a chick. I want to say the chick on here was also Lord Sear, like just by judging his voice on here. I think he was playing the chick on this track. Um, Les, like I said, like Les was just trying to get with this chick or whatever and sleep with her, and you know, the sample was it was Jungle Fever by the Shaka Shahs. Am I saying that right? The Shaka Shahs.
I
That
believe
was
so. Yeah, Shaka
that
Shah.
was yeah, that was a sample that was used. It was cool, a nice little storyline, nice little story track. You know, not it wasn't like nothing special really. He's just talking about sleeping with the chick or whatever, but it was cool.
So we had Story 2000.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much a cool track. Not nothing too great, but nothing too groundbreaking either, if you ask me.
Killer said, "Have you reviewed Trophies by Paula Brown and OC's got a dope tribute song to DLC on there? We have not done that yet. I know we talked about reviewing that album.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
We're gonna definitely do that one because we did the first two OC albums. We did Word Life and we did Jewels. So at some point we're definitely gonna discuss that one because that's one of my favorite OC albums as well. So um, then you got where we at? Track 16. Watch Out Now. This was the first single from the album. Classic joint. The beat. Everybody knows that beat. J Lo took that beat and did Jenny from the Block with you know with I think the Locks was on that. Matter of fact, and
Yeah.
that was like a huge hit for her as well. The Track Masters produced that one. I remember Psycho Les in the interview saying that there was some friction with the Track Masters and the Beatnuts, and he felt like the Track Masters were whack. And from the interview that I've seen, he called the Track Masters whack in the interview, and I don't think J Lo gave them any credit for that J Lo Jenny from the Block song or whatever.
Yeah,
And huh?
she did it.
Oh, she did.
She did it.
Oh, she didn't. Yeah, and yeah, there was like I remember hearing about that when that song came out back then, and you know, the sample they used was the secret of the magic tiara, Power Records. Used another sample, Hijack by Enoch Light, and this was like one of the best joints. Like I never get tired of this song. Like they played it a lot too. It was played on the radio. The videos were being played on Rap City, and I thought it was a great track. Very dope beat and the bass line and that flute arrangement and Juju killed it. He said, "Flip a beat fast. You leave the club with a heat rash. You got a weak stash. Can get in the club with a free pass. I ain't even know they made a rollie for your cheap ass, making me laugh. He was in jail wearing knee pads." Love his flow on that joint, and it was dope. Like I said, like there's a video for it. The B side was "Turn It Out" with Greg Nice. That's also a part of the video. Just a great track.
Yeah, very good track indeed, in my opinion. Um, Definitely one of their signature songs. Every time you hear that beat, it just pretty much takes you back to that certain time period and shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially when them drums and guitar here. So yeah, I fuck with this.
Yeah. These comments are funny. Track 17, you got Yo Clown featuring the late great Biz Markie. Rest in peace, Biz. Um, is another one of my favorites on here. It has like they have the right beat for this track. It has like a circus type of melody. I love the beat and the bass line. You got Biz kicking the verse on here and he's beatboxing. And Juju was great. He said back in effect, slap you in the back of your neck. I've been holding this down for a while. Show me respect, rain in the tech, and all that breaking your neck. It's off the hook this year. Two niggas call me collect, and It was great. Like everything about it was dope, and I was happy to hear Biz Markie on this joint, and you know he's done some joints. He's done some joints with groups, and I feel like they've been slept on. Like I feel like this track that he did with Beatnuts was slept on. The track he did with De La Soul, Stone Age on the Balloon Monster. That was also one of my favorite Biz collabs. You know, definitely we lost a legend, man. Rest in peace again. You know, but this is definitely one of my favorite tracks on this album.
Yeah, I didn't care for this track.
You didn't like it at all?
Nah,
Oh, wow.
I love this Marquee, but
Mm.
this wasn't really like a banger like that in my opinion. So yeah, I could have done without this track.
I love his verse as well. He said, it's the Biz Markie, as you can see. I got more rhymes than Muhammad Ali. I'm 1 in a million just like Aaliyah. You look at me and say, Mamma Mia. I just love that part. That part of his verse. Every time I hear Biz, like he always said something that made me laugh, yo. Like that was like I think one of the main things that people loved most about him. Like he was always, having fun, and it showed through his music. You know what I'm saying? And even his
Right.
videos. You look at a video like um uh Vapors. He was having fun with that, and Just a Friend, and he's like dressed up as Amadeus playing the piano, and he always that's what hip hop was all about, was just having fun and not taking yourself seriously, and we definitely gonna miss him. Track 18, we got Buddha in the Air featuring Cole Thomas. Yes, that Cole Thomas from Bad Boy, and Goblin of No Goodies. Um, this track is dope. I feel like the track ran a little bit too long with Cole
Yeah.
Thomas singing at the end, and it's like I want to say it's like 6 minutes long. I'm like, they could have just cut like 3 minutes off of this track. You know what I'm saying? Because like right after everybody does their verses, it's like you just got like 3 minutes of Cole Thomas singing them. I just think it was way too long, and they needed to cut like 3 minutes off of the track. But I definitely think it was a dope track. I like Les's verse, and he says, "And the fact of the matter, Nuts got a new Buddha spangled banner, make a fat bitch bounce till her ankles cramp up with this funky ass music. You know, to play stank up." Definitely, I like the track. I just feel like it was just a little bit too long in my opinion.
I didn't care for this track.
You didn't care.
First of all, I
I'm
thought,
I'm I'm curious to hear your rating on this album.
oh, okay. I like Carl Thomas,
Hmm.
but I never thought him and the Beatnuts made great chemistry.
Right.
I felt with to me, for somebody who smokes weed, this is my opinion.
Uh,
If you're gonna make like a Buddha track, I feel like preferably it should be like more melodic. This was kind of more upbeat, more club bangers, which it's cool. I don't mind tracks like that, but my preference, when it says Buddha and A, I was kind of expecting more like
mm,
a smooth, chiller kind of
right.
like Redman smoked Buddha.
Right.
Perfect example. You know, with the way he flipped that
Mm,
Rick James sample. It's upbeat, but it was more melodic and shit. You know what I'm
right.
saying? What's that one track? Wiz Khalifa. Well,
Mm. He
mixtape
made a
with
lot.
excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Mixtape was good.
up. Let's on up. Love the
Yes.
way
Classic.
he flipped that Tevin Campbell
Mm,
sample too.
right.
This one, I hate to say, but I can see J Lo on this beat more than the Beatnuts.
Really,
It's
J Lo?
probably yes,
Really?
it's probably my least favorite
So,
Beatnuts. Turns out,
when I hear the song, it's more of a club joint. But do you think they should have switched the beat from "Puffing on the Cloud" for this one instead?
yes,
Cause that one was more melodic. It was real
more
chill and laid
melodic.
back.
Yes,
Mm,
and it hell even like the title, "Puffing on the Cloud." Like
right.
compare that to Buddha in the Air. Like with Buddha in the Air, pretty much. And this for all my cats. If y'all want to make songs based off weed,
Right.
if you want to make a song based off weed, it's like have a more mysterious kind of title, like Puffing on a Cloud. Love that title. Buddha in the Air. Lazy.
Right.
It's because we already know we're gonna talk about Buddha and shit. So
Right. Have
I'm
you, and you being an artist, have you ever made songs like that? Being
you
that you
haven't
do
made
smoke, yeah. Have you ever made like songs like for smokers?
I never made songs for smokers, but I added a nod to smokers, like with
Mm.
a line or two sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I might be like rolling up that green, y'all know what I
Mm.
mean, some shit like that. But
Right.
I I prefer we don't like to make like I like people who can just naturally smoke weed to like my music and not just because the song tells you to smoke weed. If that makes sense.
Right. Right. True.
Yeah.
Um. Okay. We got to the last track on here is "Si Se Acabo" in Spanish. In English, it means it's over. Again, you have another. Yeah, there's another chick that starts off the track moaning, and it's featuring Magic Wand from Proyecto Uno. I hope I'm saying that right. And Swinger, and we heard Swinger earlier on the Muchacha Cha track. And they basically it's just basically like they're just flipping verses in Spanish. I don't know Spanish. So I'm not gonna pretend to even recite any lines in Spanish. But it was something different. I liked it, and I'm glad that Beatnuts, showing homage to their Latin heritage, their Puerto Rican heritage, that they did a song like this to close out the album. And this was like before the whole reggaeton craze and everything. So I enjoyed it. I liked the beat, and the bass line was dope. The pianos, and there's also a remix for this with Method Man. I put the link in the description, so check it out for anybody that hasn't heard it. That version I like with Method Man, and he killed that joint. So check that one out.
I didn't like this one.
You didn't like that?
Nah.
Oh wow.
I like you mentioned reggaeton.
Uh,
It captures all of the things I really don't like about a lot of the hip hop and R&B. How everything was trying to, everybody was trying to have that Latin flavored, which I'm not discrediting because Beatnuts, of course, they had their Latin roots. I'm not discrediting that, but
right.
I could have done without this track.
Right. Okay. That's the whole album. 19 tracks. Um, I think the album is dope. And maybe I'm being a little bit biased because I did grow up on a lot of the Beatnuts stuff from the beginning to now, and this was like the first time I ever bought a Beatnuts album. Like I said, like I slept on the other Beatnuts projects. I think there's the skits for me. I didn't really care for the skits. They could have did without them. Booty in the Ear was too long, but to me it was still a dope track. But there's bangers on here. You Slam Pit with Cuban and Common. That should have had a video for that joint. Beatnuts Forever, which I heard on the Violated compilation. That was a great track. Of course, Watch Out Now. Everybody knows that song. That's become like their signature song now. Watch Out Now and Turn It Out with Greg Nice. Puffin' on the Cloud. Coco Tasso with Tony Touch. I think the album is banging. I definitely love the production. The features on here were dope, and I definitely would give us a strong 4.5. So that's definitely one of my favorite Beatnuts albums. I think it's underrated when people discuss. A lot of people say Stone Crazy was their best. That was a great album. I also love Street Level. I think that was a great album as well, and Intoxicated Demons. So for me, that's right up there. Musical Massacre is right up there with those other projects. So I think it's a dope album.
This album was okay to me. I'm gonna be real.
Mhm.
Like I said, I'm not a fan of too much of the polished Beatnuts like that.
Mhm.
I felt like the album kind of ran a bit too long, in my opinion. Like certain tracks were more longer than they should have been. Certain tracks were shorter than they could have been. I felt like the last couple of tracks kind of like drugs the album down to me too. Just being perfectly honest, so
Right.
I'll probably give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Now, Killer wanted to know our thoughts on the versus battle. Like
Okay.
I don't want to make this like keep talking about this versus, but I feel like people is prolonging this versus battle, and I think they're gonna keep talking about it until we get the next one, and whoever that's gonna be. But
We're gonna be some
I,
hype
I,
shit.
yeah, it has to be good. For what I will say is, salute to the Locks. They won. I'm not surprised that the Locks won because the Locks, we knew coming in, the Locks had bangers. We knew Jadakiss and Styles were great lyricists. That's always been a given with them. My whole issue was the aftermath of the battle, and how people treated Dipset's legacy and their music. Like they wasn't out here doing a lot of heat at the same time that G Unit was, and Wheezy was, and State Property, and even D Block. I think people forgot about their discography and they only listened to that one group album, and then they just ignored everything else. Duke the God was putting out mixtapes and albums like every month from that collective, and it wasn't always featuring the main cats. It wasn't always featuring Cam and Jim and Jewels. It was, like I said, the other artists. They had artists from London that were dropping mixtapes that people slept on. You had other Purple City and 730 Dipset, and when Jim went solo and he came out with Bird Gang, and he was dropping his own stuff, and Jewels had Skull Gang. You had Bezel, you had Uncasa was doing the freestyle stuff on the Smack DVDs. Like, they had, every member was doing stuff in that collective, and I didn't like the whole throwing shade at Dipset after the whole battle was over. The antics, it wasn't needed. But the battle was good for hip hop. It was great for New York hip hop. I don't ever feel like New York hip hop was gone. You know what I'm saying? It's just that during that 2000s, we had artists like Fat Joe and Fabulous that was doing a lot of stuff what the South was doing. You know what I'm saying? But for the stuff they've done in the last 2 decades, they definitely needed to be saluted. So it was a great battle. I wish Dipset playlist was better, because I feel like if their playlist was on point, they would have won. But like I said, salute to the Locks. I think social media got carried away with Jadakiss and what he could do. We already knew what Jadakiss could do, so that wasn't like a big surprise to me. I'm like, yeah, Jadakiss is a great lyricist. I just never felt like he had a strong discography. If you got to put his discography up against Cam and Jim, I think they winning. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about the verses.
Yeah, I thought the verses was like pretty much entertaining and shit like that. It's just that the media wants to make like this whole thing
Right.
like issue between Dipset and Locks, but clearly it wasn't and
Right.
shit. Like you said, wish that they would have had a better playlist. I mean,
Yeah. They needed K Slade here.
then who?
K Slade. They needed him.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, well, what I meant, yeah, well, 50 Cent too, but G Unit has a large part to do with that, because all of their mixtapes were fire when they were dropping. You know what I'm saying? So, it was great to see Dipset back together again, because people forget they just got back together. Like, right before COVID hit, they got back together. They only dropped the EP that I'm pretty sure like a lot of people didn't even listen to. You know what I'm saying? So they're still rusty. They haven't done any shows together like collectively since the breakup. So they probably should have did a couple of sound checks, and like the Locks was in, they were in sync, and that's how I remember the Locks. Like, they were in sync, and Dipset wasn't, and that's why he lost. But I think if they had did a couple of sound checks together and they had a great playlist, it would have been a different story.
Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, listen, try. I'm about to take me a little nap and shit like that, because I've been out all morning.
Yes, rest in peace, Chucky Thompson.
Yes.
I heard about that. Bad Boy producer, did a lot of legendary stuff. I just saw Chucky Thompson on the My Life documentary. We talked about that like a month ago.
Crazy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And he did a lot of stuff for My Life album and Ready to Die, and a lot of different artists, and we just lost another legend.
Yeah, rest in peace, Chucky Thompson.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Thank you, Reg. What we coming back tonight on your channel?
Yeah, tonight we're just gonna have like a random chat. One of our YouTube friends, Instagram friends, Vinyl Lady, aka my homegirl Mickey's gonna drop by and shit like that. Well, she's Charles' friend who introduced me to each other. So,
yes, she's a dope vinyl collector like us. So
yeah, just want to talk music, talk shit, get to know her. Mind you, this is not a collection video. We're just talking.
Just talking.
Just chat. So yeah. Other
Done.
than that, I will see y'all tonight because I have been up all night and I just want
All
to get
right.
at least an hour's rest. But
Thanks a lot again, as always.
of course,
Salute to everybody. Ronnie, Boombox, One Day, Sam, Eric, Killer
Day one.
Tapes, everybody. Salute to y'all, man. See y'all later.
Peace.
Peace.